All right, guys, I am back. And this week, Mike he told everybody, has made me watch Arcane League of Legends, which is on Netflix. And I was specifically told just to watch the first three episodes. So I watched episode one, two, and three, which I'm told is act one. Wonderful. Um, right off the bat, though, I gotta tell you, Mike didn't warn me that the theme song would be Imagine Dragons. So I almost didn't make it through the first, I don't know, 2 seconds of the show because almost threw my TV out the window. Can't stand that band. Absolutely hate them. I think they're terrible. So when I heard that song, I wasn't exactly impressed and didn't have high hopes going after that because I figured the creative people that make this show can think Imagine Dragons is worth making the theme song out of. They probably don't know what they're doing. So, luckily, mostly, I was proven wrong because the animation style, as you can tell with our folks right here, it's pretty cool. Like, it's really cool. And it looks like I equated it to Into the Spider-Verse style, but more like a clean version of that. Not really, because Into the Spider-Verse has those like crossover lines and everything. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of like remixy and all that. This is very clean. Unfortunately, it does kind of feel like a video game cutscene, which for those of you, if you're watching this and you're familiar with what League of Legends is, you probably know that, yes, obviously it is a video game. I didn't know that. It took me a little bit of research. Apparently, according to Mike, and he's the only one, apparently you don't need to play the game to understand the show. Well, I'm willing to bet that if I ever played the game or knew anything about the game, I would more than likely enjoy the show a hell of a lot more than I did because I was bored out of my mind for the first two episodes. First two episodes, I could not tell you what kept me awake the whole time because most of the time I'm just watching with this look on my face. And that was about it. Like, I had no idea what I was watching, and I just knew that it looked cool, and I was like, okay. So apparently, we got Haley Steinfeld here. She plays Vi or Violet. She's our little red-headed, pink-haired friend here. She's our ostensibly our main character for the most part. I'm guessing. She plays a fairly minor role in this whole thing, and I was shocked because Haley Steinfeld's like, she's on Hawkeye. She was in Pitch Perfect. She's got her own pop career. Like, she's a famous celebrity name. Why wouldn't they put her a little more front and center? I mean, she's a good actress. She works well for what they're giving her, but it's just very questionable not to have her front and center. Most of this show were spent with this guy named Vander, and Vander is this like old school. I'm guessing we're introduced to him in the cold open of the very first episode, and he's beating the crap out of somebody. But then he takes in Vi and her sister Powder here, who I believe turns into someone named Jinx, is who she turns into in episode 4 and later. But I don't think I'm ever going to know that because I don't really feel the need to watch any more of this show. And the Vander guy was the one that was probably going to hook me. He was probably going to be the one that kept me watching. But turns out that he is just a stock cliche former badass gone good guy turned revolutionary, like reluctant revolutionary, and he doesn't want anything to do with this fight of the topsiders versus the underdwellers, basically. And I likened it to steampunk Demolition Man, basically. So he's like the Dennis Leary character in Demolition Man versus this gentleman over here in the corner. This little guy, he's way off. He's underneath evil Benedict Cumberbatch over there, and his name is Jace, and he's a magician. He's a scientist who's discovering magic. He's basically a magician by the end of the third episode. And don't call them magicians or wizards because that's not what this is. They create hex tech. And I'm sure if I played the game, I'd be standing and cheering and going. That's like, hey, hex tech, that's a thing. But I got to tell you, I was bored out of my mind, just bored out of my mind. And I don't know what it was. Well, I know what it was. The storyline to me is just this slobs versus snobs, standard class battle, like warfare kind of thing. But it's not even warfare. It's just class struggle, you know? The rich people are rich and the poor people have their own Blade Runner society, but they live in like Blade Runner of Los Angeles. And it's just it's so cliche and been done so many times and so often. And like I said, steampunk Demolition Man sounds good on paper, not great on in practice apparently. And I wanted to enjoy this. I did. And I'm texting Mike. I'm like, Mike, look, after episode 2, does this get watchable? And he's like, yeah, episode 3 is great. Well, yeah, there's a lot more that happens in episode 3, but it's really more of just a capper of act 1 than it is any like driving me forward to want to watch anything else. I mean, I'll probably give it one more episode just to see what Jinx over there is up to, because of her character when she's Powder, her young version, I guess, her young alter ego is Powder. Powder sucks. Powder is terrible, and every character will tell her she sucks. And she just has this habit of jinxing these missions that they go on, hence her nickname Jinx, I'm guessing. And she creates these little like tinker toy robot things that just blow up or don't do anything and ruin everything when they're trying to make when they need to work. And it's just not entertaining to me. I don't get it. I don't understand why I'm supposed to think this is the greatest show ever. Like it seems to like 100% of people on Rotten Tomatoes apparently think it is. And 90% of the people on IMDb think it is. And I'm sure this game is, what I'm understanding, is wildly popular, which great. Awesome. Popular video game. Cool. I'm not one of those people that's ever played it. So it's not fun for me. Like I'm not going in like known IP. I'm not going in like knowing who these people are and like looking for a take on like a new take on this story. I'm just going in cold. And from what I saw in these first 3 episodes, I'm looking at a boring show that looks beautiful. And it was really depressing because at one point I actually said out loud to myself, no one else in the room, good start. I actually said to myself, wow, I really wish Mike had made me watch anime this time. That's coming from me. Again, not an anime fan, even with the stuff Mike's made me watch. I'm still like, maybe I'll check something out, but I never will. And with this, I was like, oh, I've heard good things about this. I heard it's great. It's nominated for an Emmy, I think. And not that the Emmys are a sign of good things, because Modern Family won so many times, and that's a terrible show. But and when I'm looking at this, I'm like, I'm just disappointed. I was so disappointed because I'm looking at this show and I'm seeing evil Benedict, one-eyed Benedict Cumberbatch over there. He's got experiments where he creates like monsters with goo, and it's you drink this purple potion, you Hulk out basically, and you become just a rage monster. And that was fun for the 2 minutes that it's actually in the first act of the show. I'm sure it plays a much bigger role later. At least I would hope it would. But I was bored. I was just bored, folks. I am so sorry to admit that I was just bored. And there's one character in there that actually just made me burst out laughing, and it's Professor Heimerdinger. You guys, if you're familiar with the video game, or if you love the show, you know who I'm talking about. He's the little cat dude, but he looks like Snarf from the Thundercats. Google Snarf from the Thundercats, because of our production values. I'm going to say Mike's going to put it up right here. It's not going to happen. Mike's not going to put it up. And if he does, well, that's some good luck for us, I guess. But Google Snarf from the Thundercats, and I'm telling you, you're going to get a picture of Professor Heimerdinger. It's just going to happen. There's going to be no other pictures available. I'm sure at one point, if you go Google Arcane Snarf, Professor Heimerdinger is going to pop up. I haven't tested that theory, but I'm guaranteeing I'm right. And that guy is like he's this little punk who is just afraid of magic coming back because he saw magic be evil hundreds of years ago or whenever he was a kid or something like that. It's like, oh yeah, great. It's one of these stories where the rich want to keep a certain group of people in the rich society want to keep the fun stuff down. So so society can stay the way it is, stay the status quo. And it's like, well, that's just boring. And the underdwellers know in the city of Zaun, this future city of Zaun, from what I'm hearing, they know nothing about this stuff. So it's like, where's the conflict? Where is the drive other than the fact that the poor don't like the rich and the rich don't like the poor? And it's kind of like a stay out of my yard, we'll stay out of your situation. And then you got these enforcers who are just cops with, gas, like Bane masks on. They're just coming down and they're kicking people around. They're doing their Nazi Gestapo stuff. They're just stormtroopering it up, kicking indoors, looking for people, and it's very cliche. It's very boring. It's the voice acting's fine. There's no complaints there, but it's just story wise and action. I couldn't get into it. I just couldn't get into it, folks. And if this is the type of thing that you love or you enjoy, great, awesome, good for you. It definitely is not for me. I need more action, I need more story, because again, I'm coming in cold. And if you're expecting me to watch this on Netflix just to get viewers, you got to assume that not everybody's played the game. So you got to make something pop for somebody that doesn't know what they're looking at. I didn't see that. Nothing popped for me. I would sooner take Ambien and have a much more fun time than watching the show, because it's kind of like the Netflix version of Ambien. It's just put me to sleep, painfully cliche and put me to sleep. And I was so disappointed by it. And I was so disappointed to see like the wrong people, spoiler alert, die at the end of the third episode. I'm looking at my man Vander. He's gone. If he comes back, good for him. I'll probably never know, because I'm not going to check it out. I mean, I might check out episode 4. I might, just to see what this little like grown up powder does. I might check to see what she's up to, but I guarantee it's more of the same. I'm getting Vi, who's moping and crying over not having a sister and losing Vander. Jinx is probably just mad that her sister abandoned her. Evil Benedict Cumberbatch over there is probably more evil, and he's trying to be a surrogate evil father to Jinx. Guarantee Jace over there is making magic, and it's just things just get good for him, probably because he's successful making magic. Other people listed here. This is little helper guy for Jace. Don't remember his name. Who could care? This was I think Jace's little like TA, like her little teacher's assistant, or his little teacher's assistant. Don't know if she has a name. Don't really care. Just know her rich parents are on the council and they don't like Jace. The one up here, she's a council member, I'm guessing. But again, these characters aren't given enough time in these first 3 episodes for me to care about them. And it's just the stock cliches that they play. I could care less. I could just care less. Give me something better than the standard rich people do this, poor people do this. It's done better in Altered Carbon, another show on Netflix that does the same stuff that this does. And again, I'd rather watch Blade Runner, if I'm looking for, crazy steampunkish future in technology in the city, that's an underground city. That's what Blade Runner is. That's what the Dennis Leary side of Demolition Man is. It's what it is. I don't want a movie about Taco Bell being the winner of the restaurant wars and the rich people that don't like sex and cursing are running the world. I don't want that. And I'd rather spend some time with more of a clash between these two getting together, ripping throats out, doing something crazy, people switching sides, like assassinations taking place, uncovert underground operations like Vi wants to do, but Vander does the stereotypical, but don't you understand that if you were to do that, you'd risk the lives of your friends and all of that? Are you willing to risk the lives of your innocent friends? And it's like, shut up. Yes, it's a revolution, dude. People gotta go. Lives gotta be risked. We can't just sit here and because you have this secret deal with the police that they stay out of your yard and you stay out of theirs. And you can't withhold this information from people. And that's another cliche that I hate, that problems could be solved and people could understand things and people could get done if like one line of dialogue was just said. Like if Vander says to Vi, says, hey, we can't overthrow him yet because I got this deal with the cops and I'm working behind the scenes to try to figure some stuff out. But no, he's not. He's just happy being a bartender and an ex-thug, and he's left that life behind. It's like boring. I'm bored and confused, and I'm straight up not having a good time, to quote a meme, a wonderful meme that Mike, I'm sure, would love for me quoting memes as opposed to me hating Arcane like I do. I'm bored by it. I was bored by it a lot, and I wish I wasn't. I really wish I wasn't, because I understand I'm probably missing out on a good show if I knew what was going on, or if I had the standards that I'm guessing the video game lovers have. I mean, I'm sure you people love it because it's your game and it's a fun little adaptation of it. But for a guy walking in off the street saying, hey, watch this Arcane on Netflix, No thanks. I'm done. Not going to do it. Not going to go for episode 4. And if I do, it's not going to be okay, I'm going to schedule a time to watch episode 4. No, it's going to be, I've watched everything else. I'm bored. I have nothing to watch. Maybe I'll just throw this on and see what's going to kill 45 minutes. Again, not a like a glowing recommendation, but still at the same time, it's just not for me. So that's my thoughts on Arcane, Act 1, I guess I'll say. Mike struck out with this one. It was a whiff. Should have given me more insane anime, dude, or at least some kind of anime you could have at least tortured me with. But this was just boring. I mean, I couldn't see the appeal, I'll say. So next time, I think when it's my turn to, I have a movie in mind. I know last time I gave Mike hard ticket to Hawaii because I felt bad about Society, but I think I have a movie in mind that might be a little bit of an in-between now that we're going to get to. Like, it might be, Mike, you bored me with this, but I gave you our ticket to Hawaii. I think I'm going to give you something that's a little crazy, but a little uncomfortable to watch. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just coming up with words now. But I have something in mind that Mike's probably going to hopefully enjoy. If not, I'll have to try again next time. But until that time, thanks for joining. Like and subscribe to this channel. Do whatever you got to do. If you hate my comments on League of Legends, tell me why I'm wrong. I could care less. Just throw them in the comments. Tell them whatever you got to do. Give me reasons why I should care or go back to see episode 4. Keep going with the show. Until then, no, I'm going to just binge something else, So I will see you guys in a week when I give my intro to whatever Mike's going to watch. All right. Thanks.